There is a number that separates two completely different lives in America. Not a salary, not a bonus, not a stock portfolio. A net worth of $396,000 versus a net worth of $10,400. That gap, nearly 40 times larger on one side than the other, is not explained by income. It is not explained by education. It is not explained by effort or intelligence or discipline. It is explained almost entirely by one decision: whether or not you own the place you live in. The Federal Reserve has been tracking this gap for decades. It keeps widening, and the people on the wrong side of it are not there because they failed. They are there because nobody walked them through what was on the other side of the door. This is every level of property wealth in America. If you are watching this from level 1, by the time this is over, you will understand exactly what it takes to reach every level above you. And if you have been watching from the sidelines for too long, there is someone in this story you are going to recognize. Stay until the end. Level 1. The renter. You are 26 years old and your net worth is $4,200. That number includes your car, your savings account, and the security deposit you paid 18 months ago that you will not see again until you move out. Your rent is $1,650 a month. You pay it on the first. Sometimes you think about what $1,650 a month for 12 months is. You think about it for a moment and then you stop thinking about it because the number, $19,800 a year leaving your account and building nothing, is not a productive thought. You are not irresponsible. You are not careless. You have a job that pays $58,000 a year. You have a savings account. You are doing what everyone around you is doing. What nobody has told you is that renting is not neutral. It is not simply the cheaper option or the more flexible option or the sensible option while you wait. Renting is an active transfer of wealth. Every month. From you to someone else. The person you pay rent to bought this apartment 11 years ago for $187,000. The apartment is now worth $310,000. They have a tenant, you, covering their mortgage, their taxes, and their maintenance costs, and in some months generating cash above that. You are the investment performing on someone else's balance sheet. This is not resentment. This is information. You do not know this yet. That is the only difference between you and the person collecting your rent. Level 2. The decision. You are 29. Your salary is $67,000. Your savings account has $18,400 in it, and you have been adding to it seriously for 14 months. Something shifted at 28. A conversation. A spreadsheet you found online. A friend who bought something and then showed you what his equity looked like 2 years later. Whatever it was, you stopped thinking about buying a house as something people with more money do and started thinking about it as a problem to be solved. The problem has a specific shape. A 3% down payment on a $300,000 home is $9,000. Plus closing costs of 2 to 5%, which brings the real entry number to between $15,000 and $24,000. Your $18,400 puts you at the edge of that range. You call a mortgage broker for the first time. You expect to feel confident walking in with $18,400 saved. The broker pulls your credit, runs your income against your debt, and tells you that you qualify for $285,000 at current rates. Your payment on a $285,000 loan at 6.5% is $1,802 a month. Your rent is $1,650. You sit with that for a long time. The mortgage is $152 more per month than your rent. What the mortgage broker also tells you, and what takes a moment to understand, is that every one of those $1,802 payments is building something. The first payment reduces your loan balance. The equity in the property compounds over time. The value of the asset is not frozen at the purchase price. For $152 a month more than you are already paying, you stop building someone else's wealth and start building your own. You approve the first pre-approval application before you leave the office. Level 3. The first-time buyer. You are 30. You close on a 3-bedroom house in a suburb that was not your first choice, but that was the one the numbers worked in. Purchase price $287,000. Down payment $9,500 at 3.3%. Closing costs $6,200. Total cash out of pocket $15,700. The day you get the keys, you stand in the empty living room for longer than you planned. This is yours, not the bank's, not your landlord's. Yours, with a mortgage attached to it that will take 30 years to resolve, but yours in every way that matters when you are standing in an empty room that smells like someone else's cleaning products. The first year is educational in ways no one prepared you for. Month 3, the water heater fails. $1,100. Month 7, the roof over the back addition shows a leak. $2,800. Month 11, you notice the HVAC system is original to the house, which was built in 1997, and you start budgeting for the replacement that is coming whether you plan for it or not. None of this was in the mortgage payment. All of it is part of the real cost of ownership. A rule of thumb you find too late: budget 1% of the home's value per year for maintenance. On a $287,000 home, that is $2,870 annually. Roughly $240 a month you did not account for. But here is what is also happening while the water heater fails and the roof leaks. Your home has appreciated 4.2% in the first year. On a $287,000 asset, that is $12,054 in equity growth. The bank's loan is also being paid down with every mortgage payment. Your net equity at the end of year 1 is approximately $24,000, more than you put in, without doing anything except living there. The maintenance costs hurt. The equity gain is silent. That asymmetry, the pain is visible, the gain is invisible, is why most people underestimate what homeownership is actually doing for them while they are busy complaining about the roof. Level 4. The accidental landlord. You are 34. You need to move. New job, new city, better opportunity. The house is worth $340,000 now. Your remaining mortgage balance is $261,000. Your equity is $79,000. You have two options. You sell. Net proceeds after agent fees and closing costs, approximately $58,000. Clean, simple, a good outcome by any measure. Or you rent it. A property manager tells you comparable 3 bedrooms in your neighborhood are renting for $1,850 a month. Your mortgage payment is $1,802. The math on the surface looks almost flat. Until you account for what the property manager does not mention, that your mortgage payment is fixed and rents increase over time, and that the asset itself continues to appreciate whether or not it has a tenant. You rent it. You become a landlord at 34 without ever planning to become a landlord. The first tenant is fine. The second tenant is less fine. Month 4 of year 2, the property manager calls to tell you the tenant has not paid rent. The eviction process in your state takes 11 weeks. You cover the mortgage from your salary for those 11 weeks, while the legal process moves at the speed of local government. It is painful and expensive, and you spend several nights questioning the decision. Then the tenant leaves. You find a better one. Rents in the market have increased to $2,050, and your cash flow turns positive. $248 a month after the mortgage, property management fees, and a maintenance reserve. You have not solved the maintenance reserve problem from level 3. You have now scaled it. You budget for it this time. The $248 a month is not the point. The point is that a $287,000 asset you bought 4 years ago with $15,700 out of pocket is now worth $340,000, has $79,000 in equity, and is generating income while you are in a different city living your life. That is the point. Level 5. The intentional investor. You are 38. What happened at level 4 was not an accident anymore, it was a proof of concept. You have spent 18 months studying what you did without knowing you were doing it. You have read the numbers, modeled the scenarios, understood the BRRRR framework. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And you have decided that what happened once can happen again on purpose. You use a cash-out refinance on the first property to pull $45,000 in equity out of the asset. This is not free money. It adds to your loan balance and increases your payment. But deployed correctly into a second property, it is the engine of a system. The second property is a 2-bedroom in a market you have researched for 4 months. Purchase price $218,000. You put $45,000 down, which gives you a lower rate and a payment of $1,190 a month. Rent in the area is $1,550. Cash flow after mortgage and management is $260 a month before maintenance reserve. 2 properties. 2 income streams. 2 assets appreciating simultaneously. Your combined equity across both properties is $112,000. Your combined monthly cash flow before reserves is $508. You are not retired. You are not financially independent. But you have built something that your 26-year-old self, the one with $4,200 in net worth and $1,650 in rent going nowhere, would not recognize. You are 38 and you are thinking about a third property, not because you need it, because you understand now that the system compounds and the time to add to a compounding system is always now. Level 6. The Portfolio Builder. You are 43. 5 properties. Combined value $1.8 million. Combined mortgage debt $1.1 million. Net equity $700,000. Monthly gross rental income $9,250. After mortgages, management fees, insurance, taxes, and a properly funded maintenance reserve. Net cash flow $2,100 a month. The cash flow is not the number that matters most at this level. The number that matters is $700,000. That is your net worth before you count your primary residence, your retirement accounts, or anything else. Built over 13 years from a $15,700 down payment and a decision made in a mortgage broker's office at 29. But something has shifted at this level that nobody warned you about. You are not managing properties anymore. You are managing a business, 5 sets of tenants, 5 sets of maintenance issues, 5 sets of insurance renewals, tax assessments, and lease agreements. A property manager handles the day-to-day, but the decisions still come back to you. Refinance or sell? Hold or exchange into something larger? The questions are bigger now, and they cost more when you get them wrong. You hire a real estate accountant for the first time. The depreciation deductions alone on 5 properties change your tax position in a way that makes you angry. You did not do this 3 years earlier. You also, for the first time, consult a real estate attorney before making a decision rather than after one goes wrong. The professionals cost money. They save significantly more than they cost. You learn this later than you should have. Level 7. The other side. You are 48. The portfolio has grown to 8 units across 3 properties. Combined value $2.9 million. Net equity $1.6 million after all debt. Monthly net cash flow $4,800 after every expense. Your primary job no longer needs to support your lifestyle. Your portfolio does. You did not retire. You did not announce anything. One day you simply noticed that the income from the properties exceeded what you needed to live, and you started making choices about your time that you could not have made at 26. But there is someone else in this story. He is 54. He has watched the property market for 20 years. He has a good income. He has savings. He has said, more times than he can remember, that he will buy when the market corrects, when rates come down, when the timing is better, when things settle. The market did not correct in a way that made it easier. Rates went up and then came down partially and then went up again. The timing never looked the way he needed it to look before he felt ready to move. He did the math last year. If he had bought at 34, the same year you became an accidental landlord, with the same $15,700 and the same house in the same market, his net equity today would be $79,000 on the first property alone. Compounded across even one additional purchase, the number becomes something he does not say out loud at dinner. He is not angry. He has been doing what felt responsible and reasonable and prudent given the circumstances. He is recalibrating. He called a mortgage broker 3 months ago. He sat in the same chair you sat in at 29. He walked out with a pre-approval. He is 54 and starting at level 1. And the most important thing about that is not how late it is. It is that he started. Because in property, there are two kinds of people. The ones who own assets that grow while they sleep, and the ones who fund those assets with rent that builds nothing. The gap between them, $396,000 versus $10,400, is not talent. It is not luck. It is not income. It is a decision, made earlier or later, correctly or imperfectly, with confidence or with fear that turned out to be smaller than the cost of waiting. The latter has always been there. The only question is when you decide to put your foot on the first rung.